Hello, all. Well, I just saw Suicide Squad, the latest DC Cinematic Universe film, and I had to see it. I loved Man of Steel, and I thought Batman v Superman was a complete and mixed bag. By the way, I did see the director's cut of that film, and by the way, it fixed a couple of the plot points and made the plot move slower than molasses. It was an utter slog getting through. It was like watching 6 movies at once, and they were all very long and slow. It actually made it worse. I would rate the film now a 4 out of 10. It's an utter slog to get through. Anyways, Man of Steel was good. Batman v Superman was bad. I wanted to know if I was going to be a fan of the DC Cinematic Universe or not. If Suicide Squad turned out to be awesome, I would check out every DC movie and be totally up for this Cinematic Universal ride. If Suicide Squad turned out to be crap, then I'd jump ship. Let me tell you, I'm jumping ship. This movie earns every single bad review it's gotten so far. It is, bar none, the worst superhero comic book movie I have ever seen. It's worse than TMNT. It's worse than Batman and Robin. It's worse than Elektra. It is the worst comic book superhero film. Period. Maybe one that's even worse will come out later down the line, but right now this thing holds the trophy with a wrath and a strength like on no other. Oh God, where do I even start? This movie I could literally describe for years about why it's so bad, but I'm just going to try and make this review as concise as possible. Starting with the worst thing about the movie, the soundtrack. The soundtrack has some great songs in it. Rolling Stones is in there, Eminem is in there, Queen is in there, though I think it's a cover, not actual Queen. Lots of great beats. But they're picked at random. And they're picked solely because they sound good. None of them fit their scenes. They're just grabbed at random and jammed into the movie wherever. None of them fit their scenes. And they're all really, really loud. They drown out characters' dialogue. Yeah, they drown out characters' dialogue and actually make the movie harder to follow. And none of them fit their scenes. They're all so out of place. It really feels like this soundtrack is not a soundtrack at all. It's your Uncle Lance's mixtape that he made for your car so he would seem cool. And he just picked all these songs that made it seem like he was cool. Well, you're not cool, Lance. You're severely uncool, and we all know it. This soundtrack is like trying so hard to be cool and down with the kids, and it picks all these old school songs to do it. It's a joke. It's a super love me, I got all these epic songs, love me. It's horribly done. Imagine the exact opposite of Guardians of the Galaxy, where all the songs really fit the film well and added to the beat and were iconic songs. Imagine the exact opposite of that, and you got this movie. The soundtrack of this is atrocious. It's one of the worst soundtracks I've ever heard, and the worst thing about it is it took almost all my favorite songs and butchered them. Just butchered them completely. By the end, I didn't want to hear Queen ever again, which is horrible. Queen is amazing. Queen is amazing. That's just the tip of the iceberg. This movie, without question, was just as heavily edited as Batman v Superman, if not more. There's quite a few plot points that just don't make any sense. Captain Boomerang, one of the characters, he runs away in one scene, and the very next he's suddenly back. No explanation. The villain is destroying the world for literally next to no reason. She's this goddess being, and she's ticked off because nobody's worshipping her. Okay, fair enough. But no one's aware that she exists. She could just go out in public, teleport a bit, cause some visions, and get a whole bunch of people worshipping her almost instantly. She has no actual issue, and therefore she's literally trying to kill everyone for no reason. It's almost like her motive was cut out of the film. It's quite clear that at one point the Joker and Harley Quinn had kids. Yeah, at one point they did, and that got cut out of the film. There are so many glaring cuts in this movie, it's like it got put in a shredder. And yes, at times, because of it, it's very hard to follow. But I'm sure even if it was put together 110%, it would still kind of suck a lot. Because the plot points that are there don't make much sense either. As said, the villain of this movie is this character named Enchantress, which is basically a goddess that can do whatever she wants. She's made to be the main soldier of Suicide Squad, a bunch of supervillains put together in a group and forced to be superheroes to try and save the world. Well, she goes rogue. And she goes rogue very easily because the people managing the group did absolutely nothing to keep her in check. Oh, she's a godlike being. She has no guards watching her. She's not sedated. Like, it wouldn't have worked, but they could have tried to sedate her or something. No, here's how they try to keep her in check. They hire a boyfriend for her, a guy to go out with her. And apparently love will keep her pure. I am not even kidding. I am not even kidding. It's like the writer did not want to come up with a way for the for the villain to go rogue and get away. So they said, let's just have them not guard this being. Let's just have them not do that. I'm not even kidding. And this whole boyfriend plotline really annoyed me too. It really annoyed me because they hired this guy to be her guard and to watch her, and the person who hired the guy was like, and I knew that he'd fall for her and they'd start dating. I knew it. How did you know? How did you know? Are the men and women in this universe, in this cinematic universe, so heteronormative, so based on gender norms, and so dedicated to gender stereotypes that if one's a guy and one's a woman, they have to date no matter what? What happened if he bumped into her and he was like, yo, that girl's ugly, man. She's skinny, man. She's got to eat. Not to be rude, but the point is clear. And she could have said the same thing. That guy's skinny, man. They were both kind of skinny. My point is, how did you know they were going to date? And this relationship is really forced and it's just there to push the plot. It's a really annoying relationship. Seriously, really, if you're annoyed by out-of-place relationships, this movie will tick you off. And I am seriously annoyed by that shit. But that's not even the worst out-of-place relationship. The relationship between Harley Quinn and the Joker is horribly handled. Now, let me be clear on this. I have no problem with a movie dealing with dark subject matter. If a movie wants to deal with an abusive relationship, that's fine. You know, there's many things that you could do with that to make a statement. You know, you could have Harley Quinn realize she's being in an abusive relationship and try to get out. You could have it just simply show how bad the abusive relationship is and just kind of linger on it and show that's bad. You could show a really good relationship and the contrast there. Or countless other things to show off this debatable, despicable, well, it's not even debatable, it's an abusive relationship. But the movie doesn't do any of that. It doesn't do any of that. It has the Joker, or actually I should say Jared Leto, because he doesn't actually play the Joker. As Jared Leto electrocute Harley Quinn next to death. And in the very next scene, she's all over him and can't get enough of him and is making out with him 24/7. And he's describing her as a literal sexual object. She's the fire in my loins. She's the itch in my crotch. And she's all over that and all digging him. And he just next to killed her. So, literally, the movie shows her being abused the crap out of and then loving him without question. There's no indication of how he actually controls her. There's no indication of how he actually got to manipulate her. There's no indication of how she's actually stuck in that relationship. There's no indication of how she can't get out of that relationship. It literally pretty much just says, if you try to kill a woman, she'll get horny from it for some reason, and she'll want to do you. It's the worst handled relationship I've ever seen. It's like the makers of this saw 50 Shades of Grey and Twilight back to back, and they were like, how can we make this worse? And they went all out. It's atrocious. It's morally corrupt. It's morally bankrupt. It's literally selling abuse and acting like it's something super sexy, Why are they making Joker a guy that you want to be? The Joker is supposed to be pure, chaotic, evil incarnate. He's pure evil. No one wants to be the Joker. He shouldn't get dates. He shouldn't get dates at all. I gotta admit, this is my first introduction to Harley Quinn, and she's a horrible character from what I saw. Chances are she's a great character in the comics and TV show, but in this, she's just throwing off one-liners here and there and everywhere, and that's her only source of character development, and none of those one-liners are funny. They are all out of place. They are all severely unfunny. She's like the Jar Jar Binks of this movie. She's worse than Jar Jar Binks. None of her jokes land, and that's all she does. She has no personality. She has no character. She is like literally a one-liner Pez dispenser. That's her character. Katana is a non-character. She's not developed at all. Killer Croc is next to a non-character. Boomerang, Captain Boomerang is another comedy character, and none of his jokes land either. They're all really underdeveloped. Will Smith as Deadshot is the only guy that tries to act in the entire movie, ends up carrying most of the film. And Jared Leto as the Joker, as I said, he's not playing the Joker. This is the most blandest, stalest, meh Joker I've ever seen. He puts no emotion to it. There was all these stories about him method acting on set and sending rats to one person, dead rats to one person, and dildos to another actor, and just sending all these horrible gifts and being a real dick to every actor he was working with, every actor and actress he was working with. He was a horrible person. He was like, I'm method acting. No, he wasn't. He was just a really big dick to every actor and actress on this movie. He wasn't method acting. He was just a really big dick. Because if he was method acting, some of that would have translated in the movie. But no, he literally sleepwalks through this movie. For what little he's in it, he dies halfway through the movie. And then they bring him back at the end, making his death completely pointless. It's literally the ending from Superman v Batman all over again. They kill a major character for next to no reason, and then they bring him back at the very end, making the death completely pointless. It's literally Superman dying from Batman v Superman all over again. And it's even more annoying this time because they should have learned by now. Oh, this movie is just so full of problematic relationships. I can't even talk. This movie's getting me so upset. It is so chock full of heteronormative and sexual stereotypes and misogyny and horrible edits and studios taking the scissors to this thing and butchering it to bejesus and horribly misused songs that it's infuriating. And the villains are so freaking bland. They look like freaking CGI versions of the putty monsters from the Power Rangers. I'm not even kidding there. These villains are done horribly. They are super, super generic. And to top it all off, the main goddess can be killed by destroying her heart. One of the hero characters, if you can even describe them that, actually has possession of the heart, and they never destroy it. They just forget they have it. Because. Or else the movie couldn't work. The movie is full of plot points like that. Just full of them. So yeah, worst Joker ever. Horrible script. Half of it doesn't make sense. It was horribly edited. Poor soundtrack. Harley Quinn is supposed to be this epic, iconic character, and I can't understand why. Probably the worst introduction ever to a character. And it is crap. It is crap. If Hollywood learned anything from this year, it's that they don't have to make good films. They just have to make good trailers. And then the fan base will get behind the movie no matter how much it sucks. DC fan base, if you're honestly going to make us watch these movies and actually put your money towards them, I am very disappointed in you. That's it. I'm out. Cheers, and definitely avoid this. If you saw it already, well, I feel sorry for you. Take care, and cheers.